Hey everyone, Miacidae here, welcome back to Dark's Dungeon. So, after the complete wipe last time, I kind of wanted to get my head on straight and go and level up the runes so that is completely taken care of, and once we get to it, we can just do all the bosses there, so I figured we would just do the short tier, and then go do something else later on. So, that being said, all we're going to do is go very quickly into this and then we'll see what is there afterward. There are no special bosses in here, like the Crystalline Harbinger and the Dwemer Lake and the Warrens. The thing from the stars is in the cove, so we're safe from those at least. All that's there is some very interesting things that may pop up that I'm hoping that are not going to pop up. We'll see if they do, because if they do, I'm a little boned and I do know what I'm getting myself into. That being said, today we're going to be using a blighting party and I hope it's going to get me through this. However, if we run into the thing that I'm thinking I'm going to fairly often, a blighting team is not going to do me any good. So we're going to see what happens and see what trouble I get myself into, because I might be biting off more than I can chew. The party for today, and I will be leveling up the skills and the weapons for everyone before I go in, is Amani, the shield breaker. We have Pierce, this has armor piercing. This is very good for a lot of things with protection in the dungeon. Adderkiss to do blight, Impale to do blight and AoE, and Serpent's Way to give speed and blocks. For her trinkets, we have the Ring of Kalimdor. This does plus 35% damage versus anything that's blighted and does a 2-for-3 blight. That means when I do Impale, everything does a extra 2-for-3 blight on all 4 targets I hit. And we also have the Spectral Spear Tip, doing a plus 2 additional damage on every single target I hit. And on monster kill, she'll get an additional 1 HP for the rest of the quest. Next, Baliol, our Uncrowned. We're mainly going to be leaning into his bladed weapons, so that means things like Poison Knife, and then for his finishers, we'll use whatever we need to. However, for his trinkets, we have a slightly different setup today. We have the Bones. This is his Color of Madness trinket. This gives him plus 5 crit, plus 10 dodge. However, it also gives him plus 10% dodge multiplier per combo point. He can get up to 4 combo points. He has 45 dodge. That means he gets plus 4 dodge per combo point, 4.5, so it might actually be 5. On dodge, he will also riposte. We also have Zanzil's Altered Mixture because we're leaning into the poisoned weapons, so that's plus 25 blight amount per combo point, and on range attack hit blight the enemies. So we will only be using finishers to actually finish a fight. We then have Silent leaning into her poisoner's tools, so that means like Corpse Explosion, Noxious Fumes, Catalyst to usually make an uptick in the fight. For her trinkets, we have a Poisoned Skull. This does plus crit plus damage versus bladed, and on attack hit will blight out extra 1-for-3. That means when I do Piercing Wail, I blight everyone 1-for-3, even though it's not supposed to do damage. We also have the Ancestor's Mat for extra scouting and trap disarm. Finally, Paracelsus. We haven't used her in a while. Noxious Blast for blight and minus accuracy. Plague Grenade for back row blight, Battlefield Medicine for curing blight and bleed, which is going to come in very handy, and Emboldening Vapors for upping damage and speed. We're going really heavy into her blighting, so Poison Herb. This ups blight chance and amount but lowers duration, and Blight Amulet upping blight amount and blight resistance. So with that being said, let's have some fun. So just taking all the food once again, because that is how I'm going to heal. A few shovels. All the anti-venom, you cannot dissuade me otherwise, I am going to need it. Medicinal herbs, a few keys, torches, actually a few more torches, a few holy waters to get into curios, and we'll be good with that.
Pace out the halls of your lineage.
So explore 90% of rooms, let's go right to the fight. Get right to the mistakes. Please don't be what I'm thinking of, please don't be what I'm thinking of, I'm closing my eyes. So this is what I was afraid of coming in here. So I want to state a few things about how this estate works and why my last run went so poorly. So I'm gonna pull up the mod here really quick. I have a mod called Modded Monster Mash Mixer by Void Slimer Moon. They made it specifically for me and Sorting Helmet, because the No Hope Estate wasn't hard enough as is. With all the rules I put on to make this estate hard, fact that I can't heal in combat, I can't de-stress in combat, I can't stun already. No, we had to go and make these things harder for ourselves. So, how this works is it takes all the mods that we have and puts them through this mixer. And now, any monster that can spawn in whatever position, so like the Chimera here that spawns in 3 and 4, has the same spawn rate as a Bone Rabble that would spawn in 3. So the Profaned Chimera has the same spawn rate as a Bone Rabble. That Blood Fountain that basically wiped the floor with me in the last episode, that very specific fight, that mash has the same spawn rate as 4 supplicants. I want that to sink in. The Blood Fountain that has that weird mechanic that will attack anytime you attack the other enemies in the fight has the same spawn rate as a supplicant. That's why I was so afraid of champions. That's why I'm not sure I'm gonna get through champions. This is gonna be interesting, because the last time I tested 8 runes in champion while I was testing things for this estate, I didn't just run into one Profaned Chimera, this guy right here. Not just 2. Not even 3 or 4. But 6 of them. These aren't things to be taken lightly either. So, we're gonna see how this goes. I'm gonna take out these guys first if I can, then we'll lay into the Chimera. But this is gonna be a thing. This is gonna be a thing. It's just my bad luck. We're gonna see how this goes. So starting off, actually no. What's our speeds here? 5, 10, 9. Okay. So I am gonna hit the Warden here, hoping that the Silent goes last. Because the big thing here is we want to blight the Chimera for the Silent to use Catalyst.
Destroy them all.
Because that's going to be a 12 for 3 blight on top of whatever we already did, which is going to tear it apart. Then we're going to Impale to hit the Sergeant, which is going to blight it for 2, 3, 4, and do a little bit extra damage.
Slowly, gently. This is
21 blight on the Chimera. I believe that can move us. Yeah, move resist to stun resistance. It is nasty. Sergeant goes down on its next thing. It can blight us with the venom. I believe its bite can bleed us. If I ever scrade it, right now, and lay into it with everything else, I think we get it down.
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
37 blight. Tools of the trade. Wail at them, just in case. Pierce to go forward.
Death by inches.
Now that fight in particular wasn't bad, but now imagine it with
As victory,
2 of the angels, or something like that.
Resistance.
Something that can guard it. It can go downhill very, very quickly.
Measure. Awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike.
Okay, we want the damage on Amani. That's plus 30% damage until camp. So, the Seraph usually has to go first. And in this case, the Seraph will go first because of Blight. But if I didn't have Blight, the Bone Bearer here could resurrect the Seraph. Alright, we're gonna Blight the Seraph because if I debuff it for a minus accuracy just in case it does hit me. And it's also blighted then. Cloak of Shadows, we're going to do Poison Knife. We're gonna hit the Bone Bearer because we can't hit this Seraph, but that does blight the Seraph nonetheless.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
We're gonna impale all of them. Oh, we missed the Bone Bearer. That's bad. Nonetheless, we still have a 7 blight on the Mourning Seraph, tools of the trade. Catalysting the Seraph.
The ground quakes.
That's only a 31. Okay, 31 out of 30. Seraph does go down. That's the biggest thing there. Good little riposte.
The slow death. Unforeseen. Unforgiving. Ringing ears. Blurred vision. The end approaches.
Doomtooth goes down to Blight. Bone Lancer will go down to Blight if I Poison Knife the Bearer. And then we just need to put pressure on him because he's going to be left alone. Light Grenade him. We are going to Bandage up. Pierce.
Confidence
and then they drop.
as the enemy crumbles.
No, we're gonna Tools of the Trade so we get extra accuracy on our next thing, and then neutralize the Doomtooth.
Well struck.
Okay, we do actually need to heal. We're not in a great spot, so Para gets 4, Amani gets a little bit. Amani isn't actually as bad as she seems. Well, I guess she is, because I was going to say she gets that plus max HP, but yeah, she only got +2 there, so it is worse than I thought. Moving down.
Glittering gold, trinkets and baubles.
Using some of that food, taking the gold, leave the journal, dig through this, torch up. Alright, what's in the room? I did say they have the same spawn chance as a Chimera. If I back row Blight the Gargoyle, We also hit the Grotesque, which I would actually like to take out more. The Impale might take out Gargoyle and Grotesque. Blight for 11, Blight for 11. I only need 3 damage on Gargoyle. So just the Poison Knife alone might be enough for Grotesque. We're going to make sure the Grotesque goes down. It's a Blight for 14 of 16. Impale makes it go down. So all of them but Chimera are down. Chimera has 7 Blight. We Tools of Trade. We Catalyst.
The blood quickens.
21 of 81. Oh, this is gonna hurt. Not as bad as I thought, but Blight for 6.
Great is the weapon that cuts on its own.
That kinda stings. Good dodge. Stun there kinda hurts, especially in Para, who does the heaviest Blight. By Poison Knife, that's for 7. Everscratch is for 14. Then we do Blight it because of Poison Dagger. Let's do that. Bladed for 24. Definitely anti-venom. Pierce. It goes down to Blight.
The accursed champion falls.
Heal. Fault order. Take the Sapphire, take the Ruby, take the Crests, stack the Torch, because I'm not sure why it didn't do that, and we can take the money. Cool. So now we get to go over here. There's actually not too many fights from what I'm seeing, so what I'm thinking we're going to do is we're going to go down to the room south of the entrance, then we're going to hang a right and swing around. And hopefully not run into too many more Chimeras.
Safety.
Hopefully. Because actually, these ones have been kind of tame. Comparatively to what they can do. I'm jinxing myself saying that, but you know, I'd like it to stay that way. Okay, there's only one more fight, which is, I mean, it is a short, so we'll definitely have to do that, but I can get everything else pretty easily as long as I don't get too blighted or bled in there, and I do have the supplies to, like, get everything then.
In Radiance,
let's get rid of the torches.
Victory.
I know I'll take a little extra damage down there, but it's not the biggest deal.
A handsome reward for a task well performed.
I can, no blockages, I'll get rid of the shovel. Hunger check, we can eat. I do want to, no, I can't heal Amani. See, this one is nice, easy fight. Bone Militia, Bone Rabble have the same spawn chance as the Grieving Seraph, as the... Really? Okay, 70%, 120% blight chance, they have a 50 resistance, so I have a 70% chance to blight them. But really, 3 out of 4 resisted that? But they have the same spawn chance as that Chimera.
The horror
That's what makes this estate so wonky and terrifying. Catalyst on armor.
A devastating blow.
Armor goes down to Blight, just Warden left. Who has 4 out of 10 Blight on him. Get eviscerated. I feel very, very vindicated. Taking what we can. We don't really need the bandages.
A dizzying fall.
Key up. Okay, 1 extra fight isn't bad. Cloak of Shadows. Poison. Oh, can I not poison knife from this row? Well, I'll do what I can. Pierce. I should have just done his thing there. Upping damage on Amani. Just can't do much else for now. Backflip as free action. Going to Noxious Fume. Because that riposte can stun us, I'm Holy Watering. Now Pierce. Is at half health. Holy Water so we don't get stunned. Anti-Venom. Poison Knife. Tools of the trade. Neutralize for up damage or up crits received. And I guess minus dodge?
Festering fear.
Can at least do Noxious Blast from here. I might blight it. I doubt it. Pierce. If I do Poison Knife.
Precision and power.
There we go, we got the blight. Neutralize again after Anti-Venom. One more Pierce is what I need, but we'll go for the Blight. Oh, that could be bad. And wasn't as bad as I thought. Come on, Pierce. There we go.
Monstrous size has no intrinsic merit, unless inordinate exsanguination be considered a virtue.
Getting rid of anti-venoms because I don't really need them. Moving on along. Disarm Trap. In the bag, we will get rid of Holy Water. Now go up to Curio, then we'll go left to Curio. Don't care about books. And Torch. Is there anything in the sconce other than Torch? There are crusts. I'm going to get rid of the medicinal herbs for those, and that is quest complete.
The great ruins belong to us.
I mean, not much. All we were going was for really leveling up the area. It's kind of scary with all of those Manticores, but... or Chimeras, not Manticores, but nonetheless... a lot of heirlooms collected, a little bit of gold collected to kind of recover the fact of how much I spent leveling people up here. So 11 busts, 2 portraits, 4 deeds, and 40 crests again, and then 18,000 gold, which is nice. We also got a Heaven's Hairpin for the Hellion if I wanted to use that. That's plus 10 accuracy if torch above 70, and minus 25% stress if torch above 75. Everyone but Silent hit level 6, Malicious, so plus 15% crit on Amani, and Observant, so plus Trap Disarm on Paracelsus.
In time, you will know the tragic extent of my failings.
Nothing in the Nomad Wagon, nothing in the Stagecoach. Put Baliol in Stress Recovery. The Futile Struggle's still there, kinda want it. We did get the runes to level 7, that was the goal. I think I'm gonna go into the Warrens to level that up, and kinda just do that for this episode, just to get a little more progress. What I'm gonna do in there, I'm not entirely sure. Alright, so we're just gonna be going back into the Warrens, leveling it up a little bit more, seeing if we can't get a little more out of today's runs. Hopefully not running into the thing from the stars. We're going to be using a marking party for this little portion of the run. So we're going to be using Jean the Judicator, just because she does a lot of damage versus marked. So we're leaning really heavily into dual convocation, so just because, once again, plus 50% damage versus marked. We also have Indictment Brand if I want to pull and or mark, Amber Nail if I want to do knockback and or armor piercing, and Calcified Condemnation for anything that has a need for a riposte. For her trinkets, I have the Ancestor's Ladder Opener because things in there tend to get a little high in dodge sometimes, and this just adds a little bit of extra accuracy, so dual convocation gets up to 120 accuracy. And then we have the Hammer of the First Crusade just for a little bit of armor piercing on her, and also the ability to bypass guard, which is a thing on a few of the enemies. So just the fact of I can bypass a little bit of protection they have is going to be handy. We're going to be taking Sahara out today. Touche upping damage received is going to be very nice, just ripping things apart. And then Flesh to just do extra damage is my thought there. Otherwise, we have, again, I can use this once per battle, and I will get an extra action from next non-lethal and friendly skill. So I can essentially kind of do like a mark with Axolotl here, and then do Skewer, or buff her to do Grudge, then Skewer again, or hunt down, something along those natures. For her trinkets, we have the Lover's Glove, so again doesn't stun her, and we have the Spear Grip for plus dodge, plus accuracy, and the ability to get another trinket on killing something with Sahar. For Axolotl here, we're mainly going to be using Hunt Down because this has plus accuracy versus anything size 2, or versus marked. It also gets extra crit versus the same things. And then we're going to be using Grudge as a mark, upping crits received, minusing dodge. I do have Skewer just in case someone gets knocked back or she gets pulled forward. And I do have Breach to disable and break guard. For her trinkets, we have Harpoon Gun, just so I can spam Hunt Down. And I have the Observant Grip to ignore stealth. Finally, Corsi, our Occultist, he's our mark bot, so that's what Vulnerability Hex is for. Otherwise, after that, we have Weakening Curse to minus protection, Abyssal Artillery to do an extra little bit of damage, or Demon Pull just to pull things. His trinkets are going to be the Daruma. This on attack hit will up crits received on something, but also lower his damage. I opted on this rather than the sensor that I usually put on him, which would up more damage received for what the other trinket does, just because I did not want to lower the speed, just because I want him marking for Axolotl and the Judicator, and the higher the speed, the more chance that he can do that. And then we do have the Cursed Incense, which plus debuff chance and plus on range attack hit plus damage received. So instead of the plus 25% damage received, he's only going to be doing plus 15% damage received for my normal build here, but he does go faster so he can mark people more often. So that being said, hopefully we get through a Warrens this time around. I probably don't need that many anti-venoms, but there are things in here that can blight me. Bunch of torches, few extras, and you know what, I am going to bring a few Anathemums here for the debuffs, but otherwise we'll be good.
They breed quickly down there in the dark. But perhaps
100% of room battles, let's go. Little extra gold is never bad. disarm. I had a 90% chance. I'm sorry.
Is the trap
I know a 10% chance of failure there, but
unwitnessed by his own
up
eyes.
damage received. I'm having some bad luck lately. We're gonna just Abyssal Artillery the back. Up damage received, up crits received. Good dodge. Taking the one with the turnout.
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
Anti-Venom. Hunt down the one in the very back.
Continue the onslaught.
Destroy.
Alright, taking the one down in 3. I might get a trinket off of that. Breach the 1 and 2. Or 1 rather. Marking it.
The ground quakes.
Oh yay, rabies. It's a great start. I mean, it does up our damage, so that might be a blessing in disguise. But it does lower our accuracy by 10, and that's the whole reason I brought the Ancestor's Letter Opener, so realistically I'm only getting a plus 5 accuracy out of that. But we are getting a plus 15% damage bonus. So Youth Chalice for the Vestal, plus 15% max HP on attack hit, buff self for plus 1 healing done. Not the greatest. The plus health is great, but eh. And I'm almost out of anti-venoms already. I probably should have brought more. Something wonky happened here. There probably should have been a few more spawned. But let's get the Cutthroat down, because if I get the Cutthroat down, the Crackshot can't do too much. We will hunt down on him though, because realistically that does more. And then if I just curse him to death, we can take the Cutthroat down here. We're gonna use a key on this.
They can be beaten.
Taking everything I can. I'll get rid of one of the medicinal herbs, because I realize I have a full stack of that. I'll get rid of the Youth Chalice. I want to say Youthful, but Youth Chalice for some buffs, because I'm never going to use the thing. I'm going to go up and around, because it's 100% of room battles. Who has a bad quirk? Something on Axolotl isn't going to be too bad to get rid of. Ligophobia. Probably should have torched up a little bit.
To a killing blow.
Alright. Up damage received on Flesh Eater. Or just take Flesh Eater out. Hunt down onto Sycophant.
Decimated.
Very nice riposte there if something hits her. Which, there we go. Marking Sycophant. Yeah, that's the mark, minusing dodge. Taking it out because it goes faster, and then Flesh Eater's a little easier to take out. Reach.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
Default order. Take Torch.
As victories mount, so too.
Chevalier Seal for the Judicator. Minus 8 crit, minus 20% stress. I'm guessing that's stress received. Minus 33% horror amount received. On monster kill itself, minus 2 stress. On monster kill, clear horror. That's not a bad trinket in practice at all. It's just not going to be the greatest on this estate, I feel like. However, that being said, we'll just leave all of it. I want the food. I was going to say, I could probably get rid of something for something here. I guess we can torch and take the portraits.
Promise of safety.
Because we were realistically going to need the torch soon anyway. Go over, then down. I'm probably going to go back to that curio, then go back down. Okay, is someone else better? Because realistically, I don't trust the Axolotl anymore. She kind of breached that. take the 80 on Sahar. Alright. A lot of wormy things. Flesh Devourer, Lethargic Leech, Chthonic Tunneler, and a Vile Fleshling. Oof. So this is a little cursed. I leave anything the Flesh Devourer can get a block, or the Vile Fleshling can heal off of it. I do feel like the Flesh Devourer is the bigger thing here. So I suppose up damage received on it. Oh, that crit would have been amazing. Then we're going to mark it for the Judicator. Or not. Hunt down onto the Tunneler, because I want damage on it while we can. Hit Devour. Devour down. The Fleshling will probably eat it. I was kind of expecting the Tunneler to, like, tunnel, not chomp me right away. Alright. Really, Fleshling didn't do much. Alright, Tunneler goes down. Hunt down on Fleshling. Fleshling needs to go because of this buff right here, plus accuracy crit damage. Take out Leech. And Abyssal Artillery on the Fleshling, which is going to do more damage because it's Eldritch. Just Leech left. Breaching. Kinda thought that would take it down, but that's fine. We are going to Hex the Leech to death. And that way we don't take blight damage, but now we are out of that. We're also going to heal Jean, the Judicator. We're going to take the crests. Don't really care about the Protective Padlock. I don't really care about the Swift. I take that back. I do care about the Swift Cloak. That's plus speed. And we'll take the gold. Default party order. Give food, please. Give food, please. Healing everyone who can. And getting rid of the gold for the food because that is worth its weight in gold. There is 15,000 gold there, though. Do I need keys for this? Only if it... I mean, realistically, there's not a secret door here. It's not a medium. So unless it's a treasure room, I shouldn't have brought keys in the first place. Torch. Oh, Corpsemonger Spinal Devourer. We're gonna hit the Spinal Devourer with Hunt Down. I have a funny trick I want to do. Marking the Spinal Devourer for now, just so I do extra damage to it. We're gonna use again. So stun stealth and axe last stun next turn. However, buff the target to have an extra action from non-lethal attack and friendly skill, opposed to axolotl. We resisted the stun. Judicator can't be moved. They're immobilized. And they're gonna hit the Spinal Devourer. A lot of damage on them. You know, the mark is actually considered an attack, not a friendly action, so I guess we're only going to get 2 actions out of what I want to do. Touche, up damage received on Corpsemonger. We're going to Vuln Hex them. Dual Convocation Spinal Devourer. Has 1 health left. Has an Aegis. Yeah, that wasn't bad, but it is a stun. Mark for Undeath. No thank you. So if I crit, it goes down. If I don't crit, Corpsemonger doesn't go down. I get extra action. Hunt down again. Corpsemonger down.
Size has no intrinsic merit,
Then we go again. I'm going to get rid of the block on Devour. Then we can just touche it down so it doesn't do too much to us. Just Fleshling left. Who we can do a good old bonk with a stick on. Das bonk. Ah, it healed. At least it... I was gonna say, at least it didn't do damage, but I think it did. Scurry! I'm gonna need to do something about that. Marking.
Masterfully executed.
Touche. Do we get Trinket? Nope. Taking what I can.
Expedition at least promises success.
Oof. We'll leave everything here. That is quest done, so I don't really need to continue, but I will. Healing up. Grabbing the food here. It's a lot of food. We are going to max out everyone's health. Move on along. Default order. And what's the curio? Nothing good. Alright, backtracking. And then we'll go to these last two rooms. And then we're good. Alright, sconce. Yeah, we're fine. Anti, you say? We need to up crits received on him before he... or up damage received on him before he guards everyone. Human husk, blah blah blah. Artillery, if it hits him, takes him out. Almost, darn. Let's bonk with stick. Hunt down has better hit chance, so anti-down.
Death waits.
That's gonna hurt a bit.
For the slightest lapse in concentration.
And that's a stun. Alright. Up crits, or up damage received on Slayer. Marking Slayer. Jean is really taking the brunt of this. And Das Bonk. No bleed, okay. Wow, Axolotl, I am sorry. Mark the meat hooker. Hunt it down. Really didn't get her. Flush. Bonk. Ooh. Alright, full party order. I want the gunslinger's buckle. So, healing everyone here. Taking the buckle. This is plus accuracy, plus damage range skills, minus crit, minus damage, melee skills, plus debuff chance, which is always good. Take the torch. Gonna get rid of the shovels for the emerald. And we're going to get rid of bandages for the crystal shards, or the comet shards, which I actually need. Torch. Not really too much of a point of continuing on, but we'll see. Someone might be kind of wonky, because there really should be more enemies with some of these fights. But, I mean, just one Sagitarius is not horrible to fight. I'll have to ask Void about that if they don't see this and not. Maybe they'll just comment if I forget. Let's try to get Ruminator or something off. torch. Alright, that be that. That's the dungeon. Trying to click the thing.
Some experiment.
Another 6,000 gold, 3 buffs for completing that. I also get tough bandages, which plus 30 protection and on attack miss plus 20 protection. Little bit of collected gold, so I mean helps with refunding the cost of training, which we got through that, which helps. Because I can reuse those heroes. And then another 4 busts down here for a grand total of 7. I'm getting a lot of crests, so that's 24 crests and 8 portraits. Everyone hit level 6. Got a few diseases to get rid of. Stout on Axolotl. Fear of Beasts, which I'll be getting rid of because that minus accuracy is really rough. Collider is not bad, but it replaced Faded, so I'm not sure that's worth it. And then Tone Deaf on Jean, which I'll be getting rid of and needing to de-stress her. So Jean's out for a while. Heresy in the blood. I already got rid of one of these guys. I might have to fight another fanatic. Alright, nothing either of those. Jean is just out for a while. Because I want Tone Deaf gone, I need to get rid of Rabies, and then I need to de-stress her. Yikes, that's 3 weeks. Also getting rid of Fear of Beast there, like I mentioned. Let's lock in Penetrating, just because plus 15 armor piercing is great. Okay, Beguiling Siren it is. Beguiling Siren it is. So, I recently talked with Void about the Omibozu, and how I was damaging it on the Sunward Isles all in one, and we figured out what the issue was. So the Omibozu no longer takes damage unless you're on Death's Door. So I need to be on Death's Door to damage the Omibozu. Martyr Seal plus accuracy crit damage if you at Death's Door, and plus Death Door resistance. I think I need to go fight the Beguiling Siren. So that will be the next thing I go do. I think I need to go put a blighting party together because blight works really well on the Siren, and we'll go from there. It also gets me her conch, which I will not be using at all, but the Martyr Seal is just too much to pass up. Like, I don't think any other trinket in the Hamlet could dissuade me otherwise. Just very quick checking around. I know what a good portion of these are. Yeah, like, nothing is as good as that. So next time we're going to be going to the Siren, because now that the Omibozu is fixed, which, by the way, I think we figured out it was a torch issue, or rather Void figured out it was a torch issue, and I just went and tested it and went, yeah, that fixed it. Thank you for fixing thing for me. I'm gonna need stuff like this. This is gonna help out significantly. So Martyr Seal it is, which means Siren it is, which means boss it is. So we'll figure out what I can do, go from there, and hopefully I survive. So like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube jazz, and otherwise, as always, I wish you all well. I'll see you next time, and please have a good one.